It is better to debate a question without settling it rather than to settle with a question without debating it, said Joseph Joubert. Debates are crucial for fostering critical thinking and understanding. They expose participants to diverse perspectives, refine arguments, and encourage evidence based reasoning. And today, we will dive deeper into the essence of debates and the influence it has on those who embrace it. My name is Maira Ghazanfar, your host for today. And I would like to welcome our esteemed guest, Ms. Eza Qamar, who is a renowned parliamentarian debater. She has been debating since 2019 and has accumulated numerous prestigious awards, such as the Best Speaker at UMT, Blackstone School of Law, Gannett College Debating Championship, and many more. She's also in the top 10 best speaker lists of prestigious tournaments. She herself has hosted numerous tournaments. For the past 2 years, she has started coaching debates professionally. She's also the current female debate coach of our own outstanding debating society at the City School Ravi campus. Hello, Ms. Iza. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. That was a very nice introduction. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well as well. I'm just really excited for our talk today. So, what initially drew you to debating?
I actually didn't know much about parliamentary debates when I started my university. I had done traditional style of debates, but I didn't know about parliamentary style. And then one of my professors, who was also the advisor of the debating society at my university, was the one who encouraged me to start debates because I guess he saw a potential or something.
We can definitely agree with them today.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, but yeah, he basically encouraged me for it, and then it was just about finding a lot of good, like-minded people that I could have very, very interesting and intellectual conversations with. That made me just stick to debates, honestly, and I'm also competitive, so that helped.
Okay, that's great and wonderful to know. And why did you start coaching?
Um, so I'd been doing debates for 4 years, and in the university where I was at, which was Government College University, we didn't have the sort of system that is usually present at schools, wherein you hire a coach and they teach you. Instead, us being the seniors, we were tasked with the responsibility of helping our juniors. So I'd already been sort of coaching informally all of my juniors for 2 years in my last 2 years. And I mean, I just love helping kids, and I love being able to help them learn new perspectives, in being able to find confidence in themselves, in being able to just learn more about who they are and what the world looks like. I think that's a brilliant thing. And especially for kids that are younger, that aren't in universities, that are in schools, that are, going to go into adulthood, I think it's very important for them to be able to have skills of critical thinking and, just the ability to speak their mind.
Seeing how passionate you are about coaching, I'll definitely like to ask you how has your experience been so far while coaching at the Ravi debate team?
And it's been brilliant. Ravi was my first school that I started coaching at, and I'm still
We're
coaching
honored.
here. Yeah, I'm still coaching here, and it's been honestly very, very lovely. Simply because of course, the environment and the school, but the kids, especially, my students are my source of pride and joy currently. It helps a lot in seeing them become better individuals, in the sense of being able to learn more about themselves and just generally being more articulate with their thoughts as well, being able to be more expressive with their personalities and just change as human beings as well. The more they learn, the more they grow, and that's incredible to witness, especially at Ravi.
So, from your answer, we can definitely conclude that debates play an important role in giving the teenagers and the growing ages the confidence that they need to stand up in the world and share what they think about themselves and everything around them. And it also shows how happy you are to help them in the process. That's lovely to know. Okay, this is a funny question now. A lot of students, me personally as well, join debates to make it look good on their college applications. Do you think so? That's a valid reason?
I'm gonna try to think like a coach. while yes, I think it is a valid reason, because
Mhm.
it's completely understandable for kids to want to focus on their future and want to secure good applications and everything, and I can understand that reasoning. I do think that from my personal experience, even though that's the reason why most kids join debates, I think the reason they stick to debates is because they see the value in them, in debates as
So
well.
the reason changes when they do debates in
Yeah,
depth.
absolutely. Like when you start working with the kids, they completely, their perspective shifts. It's no
Mhm.
longer just about having something to write on their CVs, on their or their applications. It's about knowing that, oh, this is stuff that I didn't know and I want to learn more about it. So seeing that like shift in their perspective is also really great. And I mean, I do think like debates look great on college
Oh,
applications, so I understand their reasoning.
that's great. Did you do that in the first place? Like, was that your reason as well?
Not really. I mean, I didn't even, to be very honest, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know about parliamentary debates. I didn't
Mhm.
know how significant they could be. I mean, I love debating with my friends and I love debating with people online, but it was never something I saw as like, oh, there's this competitive thing that you do and then you win trophies, and that's like really, a big deal for people. So, it wasn't initially, but I do see the value in it, and I actually respect the fact that a lot of institutions encourage debates, even if the students might be just doing it for their applications. I think the ultimate end goal of having students and younger people who can think critically, who can express themselves, I think that's just a great
I totally
byproduct.
agree, and I feel like that we're blessed to be part of Ravi then because, as far as I can remember, since I've joined the school, Ravi has always had its debate team and wonderful coaches, and it's been so fun having you as well.
Thank you.
And how do you think the experience that female debaters have is different from their male counterparts?
um it is quite different, I'm not going to lie, because ultimately we are in certain circumstances where debates and speaking your mind isn't something that's encouraged a lot for women, for girls.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of challenges, I think, also with like debate tournaments. They can go on for a long time. They happen on weekends, they can run quite late. I've experienced those challenges myself, wherein parents aren't that happy to let their kid be out that late. And then obviously, so I understand the challenges. I also think like generally the attitude that most people have on seeing a girl or a woman who speaks out and who is
Mm-hmm.
opinionated, who can take a stand for herself, it's not always received very well. um, Granted, there is a shift in society, which is a great shift, and I think it should be like continued to be encouraged as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
but there are definitely challenges.
So when a woman or a girl she becomes a debater, there are some presumed things about her, like maybe she's arrogant or maybe she just doesn't want to listen. So how, did you encounter any of those personally?
Yes, I think when I started out debates, it took a very long time to earn the respect of male debaters around me, because the obvious assumptions would either be, oh, I'm not as smart as maybe the male debate partner that I have,
Hmm.
or that if we're winning trophies, it's solely because of him and not because of like, anything else that I've done. So there were definitely those assumptions. Then there
Hmm.
were also assumptions of like, I think like internalized assumptions as well, that I have to be loud in order to be like a good
Heard.
debater,
Yeah.
like that I have to be very very aggressive to be heard by judges or something like that. I think they were internalized, they were exerted on me as well. So there were definitely challenges, but I think the more I just stuck with it, the more I was able to get the respect of the people around me, because then it was just, ultimately I did reach a point where I was just a debater. I wasn't a female debater, I
Hmm.
wasn't any of that, I was just a debater.
That's wonderful. What were some of the techniques or strategies that you used to keep you going on this way?
I wouldn't say they were so much as techniques as just like pure will and stubbornness of proving people wrong
Oh,
and
that's
being
great.
like, oh, you think I can't be a good debater because I'm a woman?
I'm going to show that I can be.
Yeah, exactly. So that sort of mentality has always been there. I'm not sure how healthy it is, but it has always been there. And I think also, like, one of the biggest reasons why I stuck to debates was because there was a very, very low representation of women in the debating circuit in Pakistan specifically. Not a lot of, especially in the university circuit. Thankfully and amazingly, there are a lot of younger girls who do debates in schools, but in universities not as much. So I think I also stuck around to help the juniors that I was seeing, the female juniors that were coming in and didn't receive the same help, or were facing the similar challenges that I had faced, and I just didn't want them to. So I think I just stuck around a lot for them as well.
That's great. So since now you're a coacher as well, not only a debater, and you see in your camps as well when they're young girls or girls who may be of the same age group as the other boys, but they're not that hurt. So what do you do then? How do you tackle that if any one of your student is not being heard by her male counterparts? So how do you make sure that she is being heard?
I think the good thing so about Ravi, and like I was talking about my students earlier as well, is that they are very receptive to critique. And so my camps, specifically our camps at Ravi, they are very, very inclusive. We make sure that everyone that comes through the door knows that it's a very
Mhm.
safe space. Everyone is going to be heard. Gender is
Definitely.
not something that you're going to be hindered by. It's not something that anyone else is allowed to hinder you with. So the male students that I have, the boys that I have, they're very good, and they know that there's a line, and there's a line of respect that they have to show, and they do show it. So I do think that the camps have been very safe. I don't think there have been any instances, but anytime that even something small has been brought up,
Mhm.
thankfully enough, the students trust the coaches to be there for them. So whenever they bring something to us, it's a collective discussion that has to be had. So everyone sits down, everyone discusses the problem that they're facing, and then you come up with the solution together.
Well, that's great. I've also noticed that sometimes, even though young girls they do have the potential to debate, but they just scared that they might not be accepted into the debating society or even into the greater society that we have. So, how do you think that do you help those girls gain confidence in themselves to know that they need to reach their potential and to grow stronger?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to be too presumptuous, but I would like to think that the female students that I have in my camp, the female like debaters generally in the circuit as well, I do think that we're starting to move towards a place where they know that they will be heard. I have a higher strength of female students in my junior camps right now than I have of male
At
students.
Ravi,
Yes,
oh
at
my God,
Ravi,
that's so good.
which is amazing. And I do think that having a female coach be a
Mhm.
representative, be a safe space also definitely helps. Not to say that our male coaches are, they're just as amazing and the girls
Mhm.
go to them just how they would come to me. So I think being coaches,
But
creating
having a
that safe
female
space,
coach creates that sense or
relatability for sure. Yeah,
relatability.
so I think they can relate in the beginning, but then when I'm able to hopefully show them that this is a safe space from everyone that is there, I think that
Mhm.
definitely helps.
So, what do you think would be your advice or words to debaters out there?
Um, my advice to debaters would be that this is an absolutely crucial activity for younger students, not just for your college applications, but definitely for your growth as a human being, for your ability to just learn more about yourself, learn more about the world, understand how things work, and not just like greater things, but even something as simple as your interpersonal relationships. I think debates just give you that sense of encouragement to question things, to question your own beliefs, to respect other people's opinions while also being able to have a discourse on it. I think it helps in being able to also, like, definitely with your education as well, because with higher education, you are going to want to know how to make arguments, how to give an opinion and have it be justified. I think all of those things are something that are just essential for debaters, for younger students. And you know like just it's a tough activity at times, and it
Mhm.
requires consistency, it requires effort, it requires time, but it is definitely worth it.
So you mentioned that it changes how you react or how you look at your interpersonal relationships as well. Do you think so that that change, that especially in females that's brought about, is that a good change, and is that well received or not?
I think yes, because the biggest reason why most girls are going to come into my camp when I ask them, what do you guys hope to achieve from debates? The biggest thing is always like, I want to be more confident. And I
Hmm.
think debates definitely makes girls more confident, makes everyone more confident, like being able to express yourself, being able to articulate yourself, that definitely, helps their self-esteem. It helps how they view themselves. It helps in how they allow others to view them. So yeah, I think debates are really really great for kids.
So overall, you feel like that debates are the push that a lot of people need,
Hmm.
and even if they don't need, it will definitely raise their morale and give them the self confidence that they need to stand out in the world out there. So, what does the circuit in Lahore looks like?
The circuit in Lahore is actually one of the more developed circuits for sure, and it's honestly great. I've been in the circuit for 5 years,
Oh my God.
and it was only recently that I went to like witness the Karachi circuit. I think
Hmm.
having COVID, because 2 years of my debating career were spent during COVID, so there was a lot of online debates, and I think they helped a lot in improving the standards of the circuit, because we were doing a lot of international tournaments. We were having international debaters come to judge at our tournaments, to speak at our tournaments, and it's a much more common activity now, even though it wasn't before. Like before, before COVID, only some very very select schools and universities could go to international tournaments because they were the only ones that could afford to pay for them. But now it's a much more accessible thing because of the online sphere expanding a lot more, a lot of online tournaments happening even now. Even without COVID, a lot of online tournaments are still happening. So I think the Lahori circuit is one of the more well developed ones. And like I was saying, I recently got a chance to witness the Karachi circuit, because we took our Ravi team for DSP senior nationals, and they performed really well there as well. And
That's
I've been,
amazing.
yeah, I've been to the Faisalabad circuit as well, and they're also trying to improve as much as possible. I think the great thing about our debating community is that we actually try to help the other circuits as much as possible. So like when the tournaments are happening in Faisalabad, like schools from here are going to go to Faisalabad to participate in those tournaments, to increase the strength, to increase the awareness. Islamabadi teams are going to come to Lahore. Lahori teams might be going to Karachi as well. Like all of these things are very very
There's a lot
interlinked.
of collaboration
Yeah,
among all the
absolutely.
circuits
It
around.
can't, like debates and like specifically the kind of parliamentary debate tournaments that we have, the format is such that without that collaboration you can't really,
So it can't be just that Lahori doing their own.
yeah. I mean, we do definitely have our own quirks. There are
Yeah.
definitely things that are specific to some circuits, like some local circuits. But I do think that there is a larger, effort for collaborating as much as possible, which is amazing to see, because then for the kids as well, they get to see, other kids coming from different places and
That just
understanding who they
broadens their
are.
perspectives as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely broadens their perspective a lot, because if you are going to go to Faisalabad, or if
Hmm.
a student, like I have a student from Okada in my camp
Hmm.
right now, and who is studying at Ravi, and he's an
Okay.
amazing debater, and he's young, but he is very well, well knowledgeable in the way that he can talk to people, because he's seen people around him. The like debating
Hmm.
tournaments, having them in different cities also allows these kids the opportunities to see their country, to see the different cultures within different cities of the country as well. And
And
it just
does
helps.
the competition even offer inspirations? Like when younger kids or people who have just recently joined debates, they look at some other senior debaters, they
Yeah.
might feel inspired, I want to be like that person one day and speak that word and be that articulate. So does that happen often?
Absolutely. I think so. For us specifically, me coming from GC, like our culture was such that we were inspired by the seniors because they were the ones coaching us as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, me and the other coaches with me, like we've tried our best, and that's the goal. The ultimate goal is to make sure that it's a well run machine, right? So the juniors are going to see the seniors. The seniors have to be good role models for them, good inspirations for them. They see trophies and they see these seniors go out and achieve things, become more confident, speak at school events that aren't debate related, and just have this personality that is open, that is inclusive, obviously, but that also like shows how much you can get out of debates. So there's definitely that collaboration between the seniors and the juniors as well, and we at Ravi definitely try our best to make sure that the seniors are those role models, and that's how the system works, that you help improve kids from a younger age, they become older, they become senior, and they just inspire more and more, so
So
it's a
even
cycle.
at Ravi, there are camps when the senior
Hmm.
debaters and the junior ones, they sit together and have camp together. So does that happen often at
Yeah.
Ravi as well?
Yes, I not maybe not that often,
Mm-hmm.
because right now we are preparing for tournaments coming up, so the senior camps will be a bit more advanced, and we don't want to overwhelm the juniors. So maybe not all camps, but we've definitely had camps where we will make the seniors debate, and the juniors are going to come and observe it and give their opinions on it afterwards, their comments on it afterwards, and that helps a lot for both sides because the seniors feel that pressure of, okay, I have
Okay,
juniors
I
around
need
me,
to
I have
show
to,
off.
yeah, I have to impress them,
I
I
need
have
to.
to keep my standard up, and the juniors just like look up to them, so that definitely helps.
Oh, that's really sweet. You just mentioned COVID. So, during the time period of COVID, people who were already debating, how did you think it impacted them? Was it an adverse way or was it good? What do you think about it?
I don't think it was like adverse or anything. I don't think it was one way or another. There were
Mm-hmm.
definitely challenges to it. I think like shifting entire tournaments online was a huge challenge. Like the whole um, 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna start, and then the mic drops out, or like the internet isn't stable. So like there were definitely like practical challenges to it, but I think more so on like just the quality level of it was good, because now I think the accessibility of it, we were like, I was talking about like internationally becoming accessible, but I think even on a local level, like it wasn't that common for teams to be able to speak against teams from other circuit as often as it became during COVID. So no longer did you have to travel all the way from Karachi to speak
Mm-hmm.
against Lahori teams. Now you're all in an online tournament, and you get to see what level everyone is at, and that helped a lot. Like I think it definitely brought about more challenges, because whereas before COVID it was also much more difficult to host a lot, like a greater number of teams, right? Like you can't have like 90 teams at a physical tournament, but in COVID you could definitely have 90 teams speaking online, or competing with one another. So it increased the competition, which increased the quality of debates, which increased the motivation that a lot of people had to continue with debates. But it definitely did have its challenges as well, like learning to adapt to other styles of debates, other techniques that some people used and you just never knew about. So it all
But
went
seeing
hand
it
in hand.
holistically, COVID did present its challenges, but again, there were obstacles that resulted into opportunities, like having a greater number of people,
Hmm.
interacting with more people, and getting to know more people. Well, that's great to know that COVID did some good as well. So, while talking about debates and the tournaments and everything, how important are achievements? We all know that there will always be personal growth for debaters,
Mhm.
even if they're losing or winning. But how much achievements matter?
Um, this is a tricky question, right? Because as a coach, obviously achievements matter a lot. I want you to win. But
Definitely.
I also think that at Ravi, we've created an environment where the reason why you want to achieve is for that greater thing of like, I want to do my school proud, or I want to do my team proud, I want to do my coaches proud. It's not the achievements aren't selfish, so they're very very selfless, at least in the students that I have, they are. but I think generally as well, like achievements, on a greater scale can be so helpful in increasing that confidence and knowing, like competition. I don't think competition has to be something that is negative. There is a thing that is a healthy competition, and I think our community should and is trying to move towards it, where it is healthy competition. When things like Debating Society of Pakistan is introducing its national camps and like pa camps, and you're going to international tournaments, you're going to speak at worlds and everything. It creates pressure for sure, but I think that's where the coaches step in and help students
And also,
understand.
maybe after winning those, people gain even more confidence when they know that whatever hard work they put into that debate, it does pay off as well.
Yeah,
So maybe that influences it that way as well. That achievements even matter for personal growth because they won't be disheartened by it, or they'll know that जो मेहनत की है उसका सबक मिल रहा है.
absolutely. I think they definitely go hand in hand, right? You want to be able to improve yourself, and when you win things, you feel better about putting in all of that effort. But parliamentary debates is, ultimately a team sport. So I think while some selfishness in wanting those achievements is great, because it keeps you motivated. I also think that having that selflessness of wanting to achieve for your teammates, and
Because
just,
you can get angry on other people, but you're more likely to care about your own self all the time.
yeah.
So having that, even if you had a fight with your co-debaters 5 minutes before the match, you still want to win it because you might want to win it for your own self, if not for
Definitely,
them.
that's what I also mean, like interpersonal relationships, because you're in a team. You
can
guys are
have your
spending a lot of
fallouts.
time together at camps, at
And it's
tournaments.
debates what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you develop that kind of I'll say personality where you challenge. So even I've heard from debaters that even after they go home and their mom tells them do this, they think in their mind, what 8-minute response would I give to my mother saying no, I'm not doing this.
One of the first things that one of my teachers who had done debates himself at university, one of the first things that he told me was, never debate with your family, never debate with your friends. And I have stuck to that because it can be bad, debating with them on serious topics. So I try to avoid it. But if my students are doing it, it's fine, they can do it. They're allowed.
Okay, well, that's great. Maybe your student can come up to you and be like, oh, I had this issue, and it's not a real issue, and if you start having a debate with them, so that might not result in something that's
being a coach, while incredibly rewarding, does have its challenges in that way, where you want to keep this kid motivated and you want to help them as much as possible. Kids can also,
But
when
still,
you
don't want to be degrading them.
when you become a debater as a younger person, I do think that you overthink a lot of things. So then as a coach, it's about also teaching them how to manage, how to do debates,
what things to do overthink,
yeah, exactly,
and what
yeah,
not to.
what's important for you, to help them, like guide them through, okay, this is a thing that's going to be important for you, that you feel is important right now, but how do we go about it? Like, so there's definitely a lot of therapy going on there as well. So as coaches,
So coach is maybe partial therapist as well time to time.
yeah, maybe sometimes I think.
But sometimes do coaches think that they need therapy as well?
I will choose to not comment on that one question that you have asked.
Sure.
I don't want my kids to think that they're
that you're a
running away.
superwoman
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you don't need
absolutely.
any
Yeah.
help. Okay. So I think so even that might be a challenge sometimes, that even maybe if you have lost a tournament, or if not only lost something but some fallout happened in the debates, and you need to have that image that, oh, I'm totally fine for the kids so that they don't get depressed. And does that get sometimes overwhelming to continuously be doing that?
Yes, it can. But I think because as a coach, you care about the kids just so much. So I think the reason why I'm smiling so much is because we've obviously, like at Ravi, like with our senior team right now, we have lost a few tournaments, unfortunately.
Okay. We have won some.
We have won a lot as well, but we did lose some tournaments, and there was one like very important tournament that the kids had prepared so much for, and then just it didn't end up going well. And I'm not a person that cries, I'm not a person that is very emotional, but seeing these kids that I have coached, that have worked so hard, not achieve what they were like hoping for, what they were like dreaming about. It is painful. It is definitely painful, but I think the community here, the my job here is not just a job. This is like, they're very much like, I keep calling them my kids, because they are, because I care. And because we've shared those memories where we've won things together, but we've also lost things together. And just
So there's a lot
finding
of
that
bonding
comfort.
between
Absolutely. Yeah,
your
we have.
kids and your
Yeah,
coaches,
we
and
have proper bonding sessions as well, because we think that's important. Like,
that is
you're going to be in
definitely.
a team, you need to learn how to interact with people and how to connect with people. That's really important.
So, talking about that, what do you think has overall changed in debate circuit, or overall, in your perspective? It may be as how it's changed for females, but overall, even as well, how other people's perceive debates, or how students coming into debates perceive debates. How has it changed over time?
Thankfully, I can say that it has changed for in a positive manner.
Mm-hmm. I'm
I
glad.
Yeah, I can remember, and I've heard stories about how maybe the circuit wasn't too great, and there were too many um, male debaters who were oftentimes,
Male dominating.
yes, exactly. So there have been those instances, but I think the circuit has gotten much better because of the female representation, and because we've introduced, me and a lot of like other senior female speakers have introduced things like, and female coaches have introduced things like equity. So now, and which is a common practice in international tournaments, but wasn't at Pakistani tournaments, but now it is. Now the kids know that there is a thing such as equity, which means that there is going to be an equity team, and if there is any breach of anyone's like personal regard, you can report it, and it will be taken care of, and it will be taken seriously, and you will be heard. And so it helps, like, the safe space that most coaches and all coaches will try to create in their camps is also now extending to tournaments as well, because there's an official procedure that will help with it. We also have things like Association of Women's Debaters, which is I think like a collective that we've created for
Mm-hmm.
all the female debaters that are coming in, that know that they have a safe space, if not specifically at their institution, usually amongst universities, then definitely with this collective, and you come to them and they will help you out. And these are all just debaters. There's no like qualified professional there or anything. We're all just debaters. We've been through the same experiences, and we just help each other by sharing
So
them.
about the changes in the circuit, I think that it's also, if you would agree, that even the male debaters, they have also been more open to having
Definitely.
female debaters, because even if there was more female representation, but the already existing male dominance
Hmm.
wasn't open to welcoming that and being confident, because even they might feel not comfortable, for because debates have been so male dominating for such a long time, that having a female listening to her, understanding her,
Hmm.
respecting her, might even be not comfortable for them. So do you think so that some of the credit also goes to the male debaters there, out there, for being open and for being responding and receiving the female debaters in a good
Yeah,
manner?
I think so. I mean, like we were talking, like creating that inclusive space in our camps at Ravi, also seeing those spaces being created other places as well. I think equity, knowing that you're going to be held accountable for your actions if they are wrong actions, has helped create that sense of security for the girls, and then also so sense of accountability for the male debaters. I also think that, yes, sure, credit due where it is, like they have definitely been more inclusive. And I think that's where, like, because this is debates, because you are going to be talking about things that the general society isn't going to be, so you are becoming
Things
more
which are a
open.
taboo to be talking about in the
Absolutely,
first
absolutely, you
place.
are going to be talking about things that are going to make you a more open person. And teenage boys can be awkward, but that's why you have these camps where they interact with one another, and it creates that community. And gender doesn't really matter there then.
Mhm. That's great to know. And so we have talked about the changes that had already been in the circuit. What are the changes that you expect, or that you would want to be brought about in the circuit?
um, I mean, I know that we've done a lot of improvement. I definitely think that there's still room for improvement. There
Mm-hmm.
always is when
I
it comes to
agree.
anything. So I do think, like, having equity be accessible at every place, having it, more like qualified, experienced equity officers at every tournament definitely helps. Having tournaments be as inclusive as possible, be as accessible as possible, not just for like if a tournament is happening in Lahore, making it so that maybe teams from other cities can join as well. I think changes with regards to more female representation, I don't think there can ever be enough. So I do think like
Definitely.
more female representation, just being as inclusive as possible, knowing that this is an activity that is meant to make you a more nuanced person. Can that's what it should be about, making students become better people. And I think
Definitely,
that's where
debates enhances your communication skills,
mm,
which I believe is very important for the world out there, for democratic discourse, for being articulate and sharing what you feel.
mm,
And that's just getting more and more important as the time passes.
mm.
Can you also discuss some of the opportunities that debating might have opened personally for you, professionally, or some things apart from personal growth and the achievements or the college applications that debates offer?
Personally, I mean, I've been sitting here talking to you. I don't think if you had met me 5 years ago, I would have been able to do this. So I think personally, like confidence, self-esteem, knowing myself more, having questioned my beliefs, and how now having like stronger beliefs that I know I can justify to any person.
Mhm.
So on a personal level, again, with people around me, my community around me, it's definitely helped. I think professionally as well. I mean, I have a job. This debates is
Definitely.
literally my job. But I think this isn't going to be very like, like we were talking about college applications, it's definitely helped me with my college applications as well. So
That's good to know.
yeah, but yeah, I think just personally, and I mean, I think more so with having been a debater, I learned a lot, I gained a lot. Being a coach right now, I think is the most rewarding part of it, because you are genuinely and literally changing people's how people think, how they're like
That's a
these things are,
great power to wield.
yeah, these experiences hopefully are going to stay with these students for a very, very long time,
We
and
hope so
they're
too.
going to be good experiences, and that's just, that's why we do this. So yeah.
So, what does the future of debates look like at Ravi?
At Ravi, I mean, it's hopefully very, very, very bright.
Oh, we hope so too.
Yes, we won a lot, but we hope to
Win
win
even
even
more.
more. We have our own debating championship happening very, very soon. At the end of this month, we are going to be inviting teams from all over the country, and it's going to be a huge and hopefully very, very successful event, because as much as Ravi wants to do this for its own students, like we definitely also want to extend it outside our own school and be that institution that is willing to
Everyone
host.
looks up to.
Yeah, absolutely, that is willing to host tournaments that are just very, very helpful, and again, safe spaces, just good tournaments,
We are
a good way to spend your weekend, for
we're
sure.
definitely looking forward to the Ravi
Yes.
Debating Championship. And any last words that you would like to say?
No, I mean, I think I've said plenty, but thank you genuinely for having this conversation, because I
Oh,
think
the pleasure
it
is all
is very
mine.
important. I hope people listen to this. I hope I get
Me
even more
too.
students in my camp, and
Definitely.
we can help as many students as possible gain their full potential.
Definitely. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank
I
you so
hope you have a
much.
very well day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.